Alright, so let's take a few minutes and go over the settings that we have within our slideshows. So first of all, if we head on over to slideshows, in the following section, there are certain options and tools for us to work with. First of all, you can select your slide effect, and it can either be a slide or it can be a fade. We next have our transition speed and then the option to enable or disable autoplay. As we scroll down within our content section here, or the image settings, we have several options to work with. We have image plus video embed code, and in the following field you add that embed code, and also video in the background. And by clicking add file, you can upload a video to your media library and have that autoplay. However, do keep in mind that there is a restriction, and the video file cannot be any larger than 10 megabytes. Alright, so going back to our image settings here, we have additional options to work with. First of all, you can choose the element's color, and this is basically the color of everything that appears over the slideshow, or over that specific image of the slideshow. So for example, we have our menu all in white and the logo in white as well. If I decide to change this to black, let's say we have a super bright image and I need to use a darker color for my menu, I'll change that to black, and then I will click on update, refresh my home page, and you'll see that essentially all of this content here changes to black. Alright, so this is especially convenient if you have a lot of different images within your slideshow and they all use different brightness. So you can have your menu and the content change to white or black depending on the type of image that you use. Okay, and next off, if we take a look into our content area here as well, we are able to add in titles for our image, subtitles, links to that, and then also a short description. We're also able to add a decorative image, which is just a small element that we can add to our slideshow. However, for this specific section, please keep in mind that not all slideshows support this. In fact, we have only one slideshow, and that is slideshow type B, that allows you to use that decorative image. So let me just go ahead and show you how that works. And you can see that here we have this little decorative image show up. Now, as you've also noticed, that slideshow type B has its own layout for the header, and it essentially overwrites whatever we had originally set, simply because the following four layouts for our slideshows are hard-coded, and we did cover that in a separate video whenever we talked about using slideshows and the sections of where they can be used. Alright, so let me go back to our original, well actually we used type E. Let me go ahead and use type F real quick and click on update and refresh this page once again, and you'll see that essentially with type F we have additional content show up. We have welcome to crowd 2, we have our description, and then we have a button linking to whatever link you added into the following section right over here. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind, that each slideshow type has a number of different content that it supports or does not support. So whatever you add into the following field may not always show up depending on the slideshow type that you use. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. It's not a bug, it's just certain slideshows are meant to be more clean, and certain slideshows provide the option to have more content within that. Okay, so once that is taken care of, let's also take a look into the option of having logos, different colors for the slideshows. So it's also important to understand that the element's color that you determine here will also determine the type of logo that you have shown on your slideshows, whether it's a dark or a bright logo, or a light logo should I say. So let me unfold my slideshow settings, and I'm using a slideshow type E. If I click on the detailed tab, you'll see that first of all I have the option to merge with header. Basically that puts the menu over our image instead of above the image. So let me disable this option and you can actually see what that looks like. So I'll click on update and refresh the following page. Okay, and here you can see that my header and my slideshow are actually separate now. Alright, so let me go back and enable this option. So I'll open up my settings here and click on detailed. I will then enable back merge with header and scroll down to make adjustments to my logo. So in this area I'm going to add a dark logo to be shown by default on top of all my slideshows, and for the light logo I will add the white version of our Flothemes logo, and then click on select and it'll be added to that section. Okay, so next you can adjust the logo width. So by default it's set to 485 pixels. I'll minimize that to 250 pixels. Okay, and here you can also adjust the counter font, which is basically the font for this section over here. Okay, so once we've made adjustments, we'll go ahead and click on update, and what we'll do is refresh my homepage once again. Okay, and you can see that we have my black logo along with my black menu over here, and if we transition to another slide, you'll see that everything changes to white simply because of the following settings. My elements color over my first image is black, and my elements color over my second image is white. So the logo and this content for your header and the menu will adjust based on the following settings. Alright, so that's just something to keep in mind whenever you want to have different types of logos, white or black logos on top of different slides. Alright, so further on, looking into our slideshow settings here, once again it's important to know that depending on the type of slideshow you will have, the detailed sections here will adjust based on that. So as you can see, we have only one option to upload our logo for layout type B, and as we had in layout type E, we had two different options. So in terms of settings, just play around with the different layouts that we offer within our slideshows, and first of all choose the slideshow that works best for you, and then look into the settings that it offers within it. The other tabs that we have here, which is margins and miscellaneous. Margins is basically you adding additional padding to the bottom. So let's say if you want to add additional spacing to the bottom of your content, whatever you may have here under the slideshow, you can add additional spacing or margins to that, and the same would apply to your mobile devices. However, if the slideshow is used at the top of the page, I highly doubt that you'll be using the following margins section. For the miscellaneous area, this is essentially applicable to all of the blocks of content that we have. You can make certain sections visible or hidden on mobile and desktop devices, and then assign block IDs for building out one-page websites, and then make additional adjustments using JavaScript and CSS coding as well. Alright, so for the majority, most of you will be using the first two tabs, which is selecting the layout for your slideshow and then making specific adjustments to that specific slideshow within the details tab. Alright, so in terms of the settings that we have for the slideshow, this is it. I hope everything makes sense here, and I'll see you guys around in our next video.